uncertain time, so I really appreciate everybody coming out today. I really do. I'm going to go ahead and get started by introducing my stakeholders today. We have Dr. Delia Patterson. She is a retired educator. She's been in the Allen City school system for over 41 years. She has a doctorate degree in educational administration, and she served as a principal at Houston Elementary School, as well as curriculum coordinator for the system. She also serves as an advanced ed evaluator. Next we have Mr. Sylvester James. He is a teacher at AIDB, physical education teacher for 39 years. He's also the past president of the Post-Secondary Executive Board of AEA. We have Ms. Linda James. She served at Head Start for a number of years. She is currently retired. We have Dr. Floretta James George. She is an administrator, her current position. She has her EDD from educational leadership and policy and law. Currently a program coordinator at the University of Alabama at Birmingham. Last but certainly not least, we have Dr. Sarah Dorch. She's a former professor of Clark Atlanta. She has her PhD in humanities with a concentration in English language arts. And she's an educator and writer, and she's from Talladega, Alabama. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the presentation. This is the Durand South Junior High School Data Score Report 2019-2020 or 2020 Global Scholar Benchmark Assessments. I'm, of course, Ivy Patterson, March 22nd, 2020. So some teacher demographics for the school I'm looking at, which is Durand South Middle School in Hill City, Alabama. We have about 30% of Black or African American teachers and 70% of white American teachers. Gender for teachers, we have 65% of male teachers and about 35% female teachers. As far as degrees go at Durand South, we have about 9% with an associate's degree, about 30% with a master's degree, 48% with a bachelor's degree, and 13% with a doctorate degree. Let's take a look at some student demographics. In the 7th grade at Durand South, we have approximately 287 students. We have about 143 female and 144 male. Our special populations are gifted, it's about 7% of the school. Special education makes up about 8%. 504 students make up about 2%, and English as a second language students make up about 4%. As far as race goes, we have about 1% of Asian students. We have 14% Black or African American students, about 0.30% Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander students. We have about 80% white or Caucasian students, about 4% of Hispanic students, and about 0.30% of other races. As far as socioeconomic status, we determine that through free, reduced, and paid lunch. We have about 47% of students who have paid lunch, 45% of students who have free lunch, and 8% of students who have reduced lunch. So you can see that it's about half and half. Let's look at some assessment information. So in this presentation, the assessment I'm going to be looking at is going to be the Global Scholar Performance Series. The Global Scholar Performance Series is our benchmark testing that we use. We give it once every 9 weeks, and it's the data that we use in order to determine, grants we'll get, money, and things like that. So Global Scholar is given between the 3rd to 8th grade. Of course, when students get to the 9th grade and the 12th, they're focusing on the ACT. Progress monitoring is done. The Global Scholar assessment is web-based, has skill scores and norm scores. The good thing about being web-based is we get the results immediately. So with us getting the results immediately, we're able to progress monitor right after we get those results. We're able to have data meetings and sort students out and figure out how we can get those students that are close to being ready. Some goals we have. Of course, stakeholders involvement. That includes parents, that includes teachers, administrators, community members. We want to see as much stakeholder involvement as possible because that's how we get money, budgets for different things, and just more community involvement in the school. Collaboration. Collaboration is done very well at Durand South. However, in the areas of reading and math, we would like to see more collaboration. The main reason being, In reading, teachers don't have the same planning period. So that is something that we need to work on at Durant South as far as collaboration goes. Also in math, we need a little bit more collaboration because that is the toughest subject for our students. Test scores, of course, we want to see an increase in those. We're doing pretty good, but we could always do better. School report cards, Durant South scored an 85 last year. We would love to see that go up to a 90 or above, so we want to make every effort possible to get those scores up. iExcel is a computer adaptive-based learning system, and that system, the thing I like about iExcel is it focuses on the areas of reading and math. And of course, those are the areas that the state looks at, and that's how we do the school progress report and all of that. So with iExcel, they test students where they are. If you're on the 4th grade level, you'll get tested on the 4th grade level. If you're on the 12th grade level, you'll get 12th grade questions. So I think that works well for our students, and since we've been using iExcel, we have seen an increase in our benchmark testing. LearnInform is something that I adapted in my classes. Again, it's computer-based. And in LearnInform, the thing I like about it is if a student is struggling with theme, they can click theme, and all the passages that they get will be related to theme. If a student is struggling with main idea, they can click main idea. All the passages will be related to main idea. Whatever area or concentration they're struggling with, they can click on it and they can get that extra practice that they need. Scholastic, we use Scholastic magazines in reading oftentimes. Scholastic makes sure that students get that real world experience as well, as far as, for example, recently I did an article with my kids on coronavirus, and we were able to talk about things that were going on now, as well as theme, as well as main idea, as well as the standards that I need to cover. Teacher technology training. Teacher technology training has become mandatory at Durant South. I like the fact that we get the training at the school. We don't have to go to workshops, they bring them to us. I had students tell me, there's so much technology at Durant South. Teachers have Chromebook carts in every room, smart boards, so there's a lot of technology. Also, teachers learn how to use programs such as Actively Learn, how to use programs such as Google Classroom, Google Documents, virtual field trips. So there's a lot of technology at Durant South, and I would like to see that keep increasing. Teacher test prep training, we're actually scheduled to do test prep for the ACAP. Of course, we moved from the ACT Aspire to ACAP testing recently. So we are scheduled to do testing prep April 2nd and 3rd. If we decide to go back, we'll have to see what happens, what the state decides. But the thing I like about the ACAP is, one thing that teachers can prep themselves on is they have online tests that they get, online practice tests. So for example, in the reading department, we've been given a question a day from those online practice tests and going over it thoroughly to make sure that students understand how to use the ACAP testing. Student ACT prep. Even though we moved from the ACT Aspire and now we're going to the ACAP, we still want students to be prepped for the ACT. So I would like to see more ACT prep in the middle school area. Peer tutoring. Peer tutoring is offered during the first period every day. A lot of times students learn better from each other than they learn from teachers. So we encourage some of our higher scoring students to peer tutor others, and they seem to enjoy that. Online tutoring is available during school or after school for those who have capabilities. Sometimes students like that better. And also, teacher-led tutoring is offered at the beginning and the end of school. The thing about tutoring is I would like to see the students utilize it more. They have it, but some of them just don't utilize it. So that's a go. So looking at our Scantron Performance Series data from our Scantron Spring 2019 testing, in 7th grade reading, we had 76 students in need of support, 82 students that were close, 83 students that were ready, and 47 students that were exceeding. In 7th grade math, we had 31 students in need of support, 129 students who were close, 95 students who were ready, and 32 students who were exceeding. Let's look at some data. Some gains. We experienced 79% of gains, and we had a little decrease of 21%. Our annual target goal, students that have met their goal were about 47%, and students that have not met their annual goal were about 53%. So as you can see, it's about half and half. We would like to see those numbers of students meeting their goal increase. Some issues that we see in math. First of all, foundational skills. Some students just don't come to Durand South with those foundational skills that they need. That's why vertical team meetings need to be encouraged, because in order for them to be prepared on the 7th grade level, then the 5th and 6th grade teachers need to know what needs to be taught by the time they get to 7th grade. Lack of understanding. Some students just don't understand. I think in order to help with that, math teachers need to do a better job of reteaching subjects and just not, going ahead. Apathy. Some students are just apathetic. They just don't have motivation. They lack motivation. So something that we can do, or something that we do in order to help apathy, we actually have the Student Spotlight at Durand South, and that is where we give students awards for being good students, for seeing increases in class. Also, something that I want to see at award ceremonies at the end of the year is students get an award for increasing as well as for having high averages. Trends and implications. There will be a new course of study next year in new textbooks. That will change some things. Of course, vertical planning, making sure that we're horizontally and vertically aligned. I can't stress that enough. Proficiency scale standard-based instructions, AMSTI trainings. AMSTI has done a really good job in student apathy. It gets students interested in what's going on, especially in the areas of science and math. Also, during first period, right now we have the peer tutoring, but we are going to take a shift and move to intervention during first period as well. Some areas of celebration. 47% of our students met the annual target and 79% had positive gains. Areas of weakness. Sometimes standards are skipped. Time is a factor. We all know that sometimes teachers just don't have time to teach. So hopefully with the new course of study, we won't skip standards and we'll be able to teach everything we need to teach. Standards are not attained. I think that goes with reteaching. Sometimes students just don't get it, and you have to go back and you have to do the reteaching in order for them to understand. Also, balanced classrooms. Sometimes teachers may have 10 students, sometimes teachers may have 30. I think we need to look at how we're placing these students and also the students we place in certain classes in order to help them become more balanced. So next step, standards connected to activity to see if they match in student performance. Of course, vertical team meetings, I can't stress that enough. AMSTI training for teachers, especially in the areas of science and math. And highest gains award at award ceremony. A lot of times in the award ceremony, we're only awarding the kids that have the highest averages. But what about those that have the highest gains? So we want to incorporate that into the end of the year ceremonies as well. These are my references. Anybody have any questions? Again, I want to thank you all for coming out. I really appreciate it. And that's the end of my presentation. Thank you so much.